Kolob is a star or planet described in Mormon scripture. Reference to Kolob is found in the Book of Abraham, a work that is traditionally held by adherents of the Mormon faith as having been translated from an Egyptian papyrus scroll by Joseph Smith, the founder of the Latter-day Saint movement. According to this work, Kolob is the heavenly body nearest to the throne of God. While the Book of Abraham refers to Kolob as a star, it also refers to planets as stars, and, therefore, some Mormon commentators consider Kolob to be a planet. The body also appears in Mormon culture, including a reference to Kolob in an LDS hymn, Doctrine and Exegesis. Description in the Book of Abraham. The first published reference to Kolob is found in the Book of Abraham, first published in 1842 in Times and Seasons and now included within the Pearl of Great Price as part of the canon of Mormonism. The Book of Abraham was dictated in 1836 by Smith after he purchased a set of Egyptian scrolls that accompanied a mummy exhibition. According to Smith, the scrolls described a vision of Abraham, in which Abraham saw the stars, that they were very great, and that one of them was nearest unto the throne of God. And the name of the great one is Kolob, because it is near unto me. For I am the Lord thy God. I have set this one to govern all those which belong to the same order as that upon which thou standest. In an explanation of an Egyptian hypocephalus that was part of the Joseph Smith papyri, Smith interpreted one set of hieroglyphics as representing Kolob, signifying the first creation, nearest to the celestial, or the residence of God, first in government, the last pertaining to the measurement of time, the measurement according to celestial time, which celestial time signifies 1 day to a cubit. 1 day in Kolob is equal to 1,000 years according to the measurement of the earth, which is called by the Egyptians Jaroa. The Book of Abraham describes a hierarchy of heavenly bodies, including the earth, the moon, and the sun, each with different movements and measurements of time, where at the pinnacle, the slowest rotating body is Kolob, where 1 Kolob day corresponds to 1,000 earth years. This is similar to Psalm chapter 94, which says that, for 1,000 years in God's sight are but as yesterday when it is past, and 2 Peter chapter 3:8, which says, 1 day is with the Lord as 1,000 years. Additional, similar information about Kolob is found in the Kirtland Egyptian papers, constituting manuscripts in the handwriting of Smith and his scribes. Mormon exegesis and speculation. According to the traditional, literal Mormon interpretation of the Book of Abraham, Kolob is an actual star or planet in this universe that is, or is near, the physical throne of God. According to Smith, this star was discovered by Methuselah and Abraham by looking through the Urim and Thummim, a set of seer stones bound into a pair of spectacles. LDS Church leader and historian B. H. Roberts, 1857–1933, interpreted Smith's statements to mean that our solar system and its governing planet, the Sun, revolved around a star known as Ke Van Rash, which itself revolved with its own solar system around a star called Kli Flosses S or Harco Cowbeam, which themselves revolve around Kolob, which he characterized as the great center of that part of the universe to which our planetary system belongs. Roberts was confident that this hierarchy of stars orbiting other stars would be confirmed by astronomers. The literal interpretation of Kolob as an actual star or planet had significant formative impact on Mormon belief and criticism, leading to conceptions such as that the biblical creation is a creation of the local Earth, solar system, or galaxy, rather than the entire known physical reality. Star or planet. The Book of Abraham is unclear about Kolob being a star or a planet, and Mormon writings have taken positions on either side of this issue. One part of the Book of Abraham states that Abraham saw the stars, and that one of them was nearest unto the throne of God, and the name of the great one is Kolob. Thus, Kolob is referred to as a star. However, the book defines the word Kokhalbim, a transliteration of the Hebrew c.f. Gen. 15:5, as meaning all the great lights which were in the firmament of heaven. This would appear to include planets as among the stars, and the Book of Abraham refers to Earth as a star. In addition, the Book of Abraham text appears to classify Kolob as among a hierarchy of planets. On the other hand, in the Egyptian alphabet and grammar paper, Kolob is classified as one of 12 fixed stars, in distinction with 15 moving planets. The term fixed star generally refers to an astronomical object that does not seem to move across the sky, but may have a slow proper motion, as discovered in 1718 by Edmund Halley. Though fixed, according to Smith, Kolob moves swifter than the rest of the 12 fixed stars. Moreover, in the Book of Abraham, Smith refers to fixed planets as stars, implying that some planets may be fixed. He also refers to the Sun as a governing planet, which further complicates the terminology. Therefore, there is no consensus on whether Smith understood Kolob to be a planet or a star, as those terms are used in modern astronomy. Writers in the Latter-day Saint movement have taken positions on both sides of the issue of whether Kolob is a star or a planet. Brigham Young, second president of The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, LDS Church, spoke of Kolob as a planet. Likewise, LDS Church apostles John Taylor, Orson Pratt, a mathematician with an interest in astronomy, Orson F. Whitney, and Alvin R. Dyer referred to Kolob as a planet. Other Mormon theologians have also viewed Kolob as a planet. Several other Mormon writers have referred to Kolob as a star, including B. H. Robertson, LDS Church President David O. McKay, birthplace for the Earth equals. According to several Mormon writers, such as W. Cleon Skousen in his book The First 2,000 Years, the Earth was created near Kolob over a period of 6,000 years, and then moved to its present position in our solar system. This hypothesis is based on oral comments attributed to Smith. The hypothesis is also based on a passage from the Book of Abraham stating that in the Garden of Eden, time was measured after the Lord's time, which was after the time of Kolob, for as yet the gods had not appointed to Adam his reckoning. According to the hypothesis, the reason that Earth time was measured in Kolob time was because the Earth was physically located near Kolob. As a corollary, some Mormon writers argue that at the end times, the Earth will be plucked from the solar system and returned to its original orbit near Kolob. Using traditional creationist reasoning, LDS Church apostle Bruce R. McConkie came to a different conclusion, arguing that during the first day of creation, not necessarily a 1,000-year day in Kolob time, with a day referring to a phase of creation, Earth was formed and placed in orbit around the Sun. The idea that the Earth was formed elsewhere and then migrated to orbit around the Sun differs from the scientific explanation of the Earth's formation. According to scientific consensus, the Earth formed in orbit around the Sun about 4.5 billion years ago by accretion from a protoplanetary disk, and remained near its original orbit until the present. Speculative astronomy . Several Mormon authors have attempted to situate Kolob within modern astronomy. Skousen speculated that Kolob is a star at the galactic center, Sagittarius A*, of our own galaxy. This view also had the support of several former general authorities of the LDS Church, including J. Reuben Clark and George Reynolds, with Jan M. Seudal. In the mid-19th century, Early efforts to find a central sun in the galaxy resulted in failure. Another Mormon author has hypothesized that Kolob exists outside the Milky Way galaxy at a place called the metagalactic center, and that this galaxy and other galaxies rotate around it. Within mainstream astronomy, the idea of a metagalactic center was once assumed, but has been abandoned because on large scales, the expanding universe has no gravitational center. Another Mormon author has speculated that Kolob is Polaris. Metaphorical exegesis. In addition to the literal interpretation of Kolob as an actual heavenly body, the LDS Church has proposed that Kolob is also a symbol of Jesus Christ, in that like Kolob, Jesus governs all the stars and planets similar to the Earth. A metaphorical interpretation suggests that Kolob may be construed as a metaphor for Jesus rather than as an actual planet or star. The symbolic interpretation was explained by Hugh Nibley in The Temple and the Cosmos. Advocates of the symbolic interpretation believe it harmonizes better with other Mormon beliefs, and with beliefs in the greater Christian community, as it does not require that God have a physical throne within this universe. According to Mormon author James Farrell, the metaphorical interpretation is supported by the parallel construction of the passages in the Book of Abraham's 3rd chapter. 2 And I saw the stars, that they were very great, and that one of them was nearest unto the throne of God, and there were many great ones which were near unto it. 3 And the Lord said unto me, These are the governing ones, and the name of the great one is Kolob, because it is near unto me. For I am the Lord thy God. I have set this one to govern all. After intervening passages that discuss how some souls are greater than others, just as some stars are greater than others, the theme is repeated in reference to Jesus. 23 And God saw these souls that they were good, and he stood in the midst of them, and he said, These I will make my rulers. For he stood among those that were spirits, and he saw that they were good. 24 And there stood one among them that was like unto God. Analysis and criticism. Origin. Some Mormon scholars have sought to link the Kolob doctrine to ancient astronomy. G. Hamblin and Peterson, 2006, have sought to show that this astronomy is more consistent with ancient geocentrism than with 19th-century Copernican and Newtonian astronomy, and thus carries with it the misconceptions of ancient astronomy. For example, in their interpretation, Kolob is the highest and slowest moving of a series of concentric heavenly spheres, which are centered on Earth. These authors believed that Smith, in the 19th century, would not have made this geocentric mistake about Kolob, and therefore, they argue that the Book of Abraham is of ancient origin. John T. Vitness suggested that another possible Hebrew etymology is the Hebrew klb, dog, originally pronounced kalb just as it is in Arabic. This is used to denote the star Regulus in Arabic, while the Syriac, which is also kalb, denotes the star Sirius, the brightest star in the heavens. He also suggested that the Hebraic use of klb, as both the word dog and an astronomical term, refers to the universality of Sirius as the dog star. According to Fawn Brodie, Smith's idea of Kolob may have been derived from the throne of God idea found in Thomas Dick's The Philosophy of a Future State, which Brodie said Smith had recently been reading before dictating the Book of Abraham, and which made a lasting impression on him. Validity of Smith's translation of the Book of Abraham. Modern Egyptologists have made an analysis of the facsimile, a copy of the extant original vignette from the Kirtland Egyptian papers, and with fragments of the papyrus of the type from which the Book of Abraham was translated, and identified it as a hypocephalus, an object placed on the head of a deceased person. In popular culture, if you could heat a Kolob, he, to hasten, is a Latter-day Saint hymn that was written by the early Mormon W. Phelps. The music is taken from a well-known folk tune known as Dives and Lazarus. It was originally published in 1842 in Times and Seasons and is hymn number 284 in the current hymnal for the LDS Church. The hymn makes only a single reference to Kolob in the first line of the hymn, from which the hymn's title is derived. It is the only hymn in the current LDS Church hymnal that mentions Kolob. The hymn reflects doctrines unique to Mormonism, such as the eternal nature of spirit, including man's spirit and matter. It also conveys doctrines elaborated by Smith, the first Latter-day Saint prophet, about the plurality of gods and eternal progression. The tune was arranged by Ralph Vaughan Williams, 1906, for the English hymnal and can be found in today's hymnals under the name of King's Fold. The tune is also used in other hymns. "Oh, Sing a Song of Bethlehem," "I Heard the Voice of Jesus," and "We Sing the Mighty Power of God." Kolob is the inspiration for Kobol in Battlestar Galactica. Some of the elements of the two Battlestar Galactica science fiction television shows seem to be derived from the Mormon beliefs of its creator and chief producer, Glenn A. Larson. In both the original series from 1978 and the 2003 new series, the planet Kobol is the ancient and distant mother world of the entire human race and the planet where life began, and the Lords of Kobol are sacred figures to the human race. They are treated as elders or patriarchs in the old series, and versions of the 12 Olympians in the new series. Kobol is an anagram of Kolob and, according to academic Jana Ries, is one of many plot points Larson has borrowed from Mormonism. Other instances: Zion National Park has a region known as Kolob Canyons. Daniel Stephen Crafts has a movement called the Great Arches of Kolob in his Southwest Sinfonia, originally named after Kolob Canyons in Zion National Park. Kolob was the name of a short-lived record label production company founded by the Osmond brothers in the 1970s, released in association with MGM Records, which was absorbed by Polydor in 1976. The logo consisted of the hand holding a ball of clay resembling the planet. The Osmonds also recorded an album called The Plan, which deals with themes in Mormonism related to Kolob. Kolob was also the name of the alien probe in the children's sci-fi series Children of the Dog Star, broadcast in 1984 in New Zealand. In Levi Peterson's The Backslider, released in 1986, the Mormon protagonist, feeling distant from God, wonders how God is feeling this morning up on the royal star of Kolob. Quote, "The musical The Book of Mormon includes a reference to the planet Kolob in Ken MacLeod's novel Newton's Wake, a future society rooted in conservative U.S. culture has a hymn which is a slightly altered version of If You Could Heat a Kolob." See also Astronomical Bodies in Pseudoscience and the Paranormal. Mormon Cosmology. Notes. Further reading. Paul. Eric Robert. 1992. Astronomy. Scriptural 2. In Ludlow. Daniel H. Encyclopedia of Mormonism. New York. Macmillan Publishing. p. 82. ISBN 002-879602-0. OCLC 24502140. About. Com. Explanation of perceptions about Kolob. Kolob. Astronomy and Book of Abraham. Anthony Larson correlates cosmology with global mythology and LDS doctrine. Kolob as Sirius.